Start from there.
So we saw the unbelievable potential of our youth, and I'm not going to attribute it to a particular region. Esther is one of our, I believe, one of our Navratnas of our country. And you have this potential across the length and breadth of our land. As Sonal and Zaka were mentioning in their opening remarks, it's youth that brings about change. It's youth that brings about transformation. And today in India, we have close to about 70% of India, which is below the age of 35. We're talking about a population of close to 980 million youth in our country. Now that sounds very easy when the words roll out of your mouth, but that's 3 times the population of the United States of America. That's twice the population of combined Europe. That's the potential that India today holds out, not only for the region, but for the world. And within that cosmos, I believe the Northeast presents a very, very important role that part of our country has to play. If you rewind, Anand, about 500 to 1,000 years ago, all trade from the global south would go through the Northeast prior to going into the Middle East and to Europe. And I think we need to revive those capabilities across our country today. Very few people know, but when you fly from, let's say, a Guwahati or an Imphal to a Chennai or to a Mumbai, equidistant is a Thailand or an Indonesia. And that's the circumference that we need to now connect to. Prime Minister Modi in the last 10 years has talked about and ensured the execution of the rise of the Northeast, an area of our country that was always seen as the last frontier. He has transformed into the first frontier of the country. And across infrastructure, if you look at the number of airports, we had 9 airports in the Northeast 10 years ago. 2 states did not even have a single airport, Arunachal Pradesh and Sikkim. Today from 9, we have 17 airports in the Northeast. From close to about 10,000 kilometers of national highways, we have 16,000 kilometers of national highways. From a single waterway, we have close to 20 waterways. Railways are going to connect every state capital over the next year, year and a half in the Northeast. So infrastructure is all pervasive across the Northeast. And it's on that foundation that you've today seen companies like the Tata Group set up a semiconductor fab nowhere else in the country but in Assam. 27,000 crore worth of investment, and the amount of direct and indirect positive externalities that will bring to that area is unbelievable in the coming days.
So big round of applause for that. So there's a lot being done. But you mentioned Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji. How's it working with him?
Oh, it's amazing. It's always like as if you're on a treadmill, just trying to keep up. The amount of boundless energy, commitment, dedication, and mind you, Anand, eye for finer detail, crossing the T's, dotting the I's, the ability to be able to connect with every single human being, not only across India, but across the world. To be able to look at not only a mental construct, but an emotional construct. And that capability, I believe, very few leaders today across the world have. I happen to come from a professional background before I entered public service. I used to be an investment banker. And so it was all about being able to deliver on your timelines. And we have today a Prime Minister that makes sure that not only the cabinet, but the government of India delivers on its timelines. And that's why you're seeing the transformation of India.
Is it different from how you perceived him to be when you transitioned from the Congress into the BJP? Did you have a perception of PM Modi, and now working with him over the last few years, has it changed? I always
have thought that he was a very And he is a very driven person, a very committed person, a very dedicated person. And one more point I'd like to bring up, Anand, which is very close to my heart, is the revival of India's cultural power. And you're seeing that happen through Prime Minister's perseverance across the board, whether it's Varanasi, whether it's Ayodhya, Badrinath, Kedarnath in my state, Mahankal Lok, Ujjain's Mahankal, across the board in India, and that has had a reverberating effect in terms of India's culture, rise of India's cultural nationalism again across the world.
Integral to Bharat's culture is also the culture of the Northeast. I just quickly want to get your reaction on what Mr. Mohammad Yunus said in Beijing about the Northeast.
I think I started with that comment. The Northeast shares 6,000 kilometers of an international boundary. And therefore, our connectivity with the global South is unparalleled to anyone. And while I've been engaging as donor minister with all our 8 chief ministers and understanding, trying to provide value in their effort to move forward, one of the things that I've been laying a lot of stress on is not only to look outward towards the north, but also to look outward towards the south. Because the capability that the Northeast has in terms of it being a Shangri-La, a preserve of nature, horticulture, floriculture, very few people are aware. And when in my earlier avatar as Minister of Civil Aviation, when I started Krishi Udan, the fact that our queen pineapples from Tripura don't travel all the way to maybe a Thailand or maybe a Chennai. Our queen pineapples through Krishi Udan travel all the way to Germany. Our chilies from Nagaland, our king chilies, go all the way to Dubai. And so therefore our capability to be able to impact both the global north and the global south from the northeast is phenomenal. And I do not believe that even though other countries may not be completely landlocked, they have the diversity and the capability that our Ashtalakshmi of the Northeast have.
Thank you. Thank you for that. So you have in your own way answered Mr. Mohammad Yunus and quite ably, but you talked about your earlier avatar as civil aviation. So I just want to ask you, your father, Madhavji, also was the Minister of Civil Aviation. How was it for you to walk into that office and to sit on that chair when that happened?
A very emotional moment, a very sobering moment.